confident are you with your quarterback situation going into the week?
Good, yeah, fine. Obviously, based on last week, obviously I performed better, not have any turnovers, but overall, yeah, fired up for this coming Saturday.
Adrian practicing full go.
Yeah,
relatively.
Yeah, no, he was good to go, man. Just in terms of his tempo, yeah, that was fine. Yeah.
How do you get a freshman ready for 110,000 people?
Block it out. They've prepared. They know the game plan and all the plays and all that sort of stuff. Just go out and play. Really, seriously, just go out and perform.
Is it even a conversation you have with them?
It's a great question. Not really, because going back to last spring when we talk about those sorts of things in relation to that question, hey, let's do our job, get our work done, plan your work your plan, then go out and let it rip. That's about as much as you can do with those guys. You don't want to make too big a deal of it. I think they understand they're going to Michigan and that sort of thing. They've all watched it on TV before, so yeah.
How'd you feel like Bunch played after? Well, how'd you feel like he played in the first quarter of the game against Troy, and then after that?
It's the most interesting thing because even from the first play, that play was supposed to be on the left hash. So Frosty asked for it on the left hash, and they put it on the right hash, and then they moved it back to the left hash, and they moved back to the right hash.
Yeah.
So here's his first play of the game. We've been rehearsing on the left hash, so you have field to work, and they put it on the boundary hash. So I thought overall he did a pretty good job. Obviously the turnovers, you don't want to have those sorts of things. And we've talked about that. But overall, just in terms of what our role was going to be within the framework of the game plan, I thought he did an okay job.
Did you feel like he settled in after that interception? Because that he threw that one into traffic, but after that,
yeah,
you feel like he got better.
Yeah, and one of the things you talk about is never throw the ball down the middle, inside late, without assurance.
Right.
If you have assurance, great. So I asked him. I said, now Andrew, I got him on the phone. Andrew, did you have assurance? Yeah, Coach. I said, well, when we watch the tape, I'm going to find out. And it was like you said, it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
It was a ball that he would like to have back, obviously. Yeah.
What jumps out about Michigan's defense to you this week?
Oh, they're so multiple, and they're disciplined, and they fly around. They play extremely hard. The multiplicity of what they do, they continually try to confuse what you're doing up front with regards to protections, let's say, or even your run game assignments. That's the thing that probably jumps out the most to me, having played them, 2 years ago when we were at UCF with, Coach Brown does a great job. And I know him a little bit because my two nephews went to Yale when he was coaching there, and he's a tremendous coach.
How much does that affect the quarterback position?
In terms of the protection
terms of the confusion issue, trying to confuse you.
That piece of it in terms of the back end,
Yeah.
That isn't a huge issue. Okay. Although when you're dealing with young quarterbacks, you want to make sure that they know what they're looking at. The up front piece of the puzzle, it can be a problem. It's a problem that for everybody they play, when you look at it. The amount of people they put up in the line of scrimmage and who's who and what's what and all that sort of stuff, that becomes a bit of an issue.
Some quarterbacks read better than others, especially young quarterbacks. Some young quarterbacks read better than others. How is Adrian in that regard?
Adrian, in my experience since he's been here, has naturally good vision. He sees the field, and some guys, I think we talked about that when I first got here in spring. Some guys have that. Can you coach it up and make it better? Absolutely. But some guys just inherently have that ability, and so that's part of his profile.
How hard is it to tempo Michigan just with how physical they are and how much they kind of can win on early downs?
Yeah, you have to be careful with that. It's a great point and a great question. So, as you guys know, you'd like to have some success on that initial play before you start going tempo, and they're stout. They do a nice job.
How are they in terms of being stout? How are they compared to the first two opponents?
Oh, they're a better team. I think Coach Frost mentioned that the other day. They're a better opponent than either Troy or Colorado State. Absolutely.
Their defense reminds you of Auburn at all? When you win the bowl game, a lot of people said that you guys are going to have a hard time moving it on those Auburn's defense.
Well, yeah, just in terms of their personnel, but with regards to the stability of the front, they're different than Auburn. Auburn's a little more stable, right? And you guys have seen Michigan play. It looks like they're playing with 19 guys out there. I mean, you know, I mean, it's amazing what Coach Brown does with that. You know, and from that standpoint, it's very similar to our defense in terms of the multiplicity of looks and where people are coming from.
With your love of quarterbacks, have you ever been in the same, I don't know, circle with Harbaugh over the years? Or I know he's pretty passionate about that too.
What's the question again, Jim? I'm sorry.
Have you ever been in the same, I don't know, clinic circles as Harbaugh?
No. I think I met John and his brother when they were coaching at Western Kentucky. That was the first year we played them in 2001 for the conference title, and we're fortunate enough to win. But that I think I've met him once. I wouldn't say that I know Coach Harbaugh very well.
How's this month kind of been the last, I guess, 3 weeks for you? Maybe?
For me?
Yeah. How would you characterize it?
Typical.
Typical.
Well, you know, you don't want to get caught up in the emotion of anything, whether it's too high or too low. And so you come to work and you prepare and you get your guys ready to go for the opponent at hand, and you try to shut everything out, you know. And as I said earlier, you plan your work your plan. Mm-hmm. So from that standpoint, it's been fairly typical for me, without getting wrapped up in the outside distractions and all of those sorts of things. So, and you know, our guys need to have that sort of stability. Emotionally from me, you know. And, you know, hey, I'm an emotional guy, but I certainly can't demonstrate that either during the course of the game or in our meetings or in practice or whatever.
You just peel that back?
Absolutely, have to. You know, as Coach HOL said, it has to be more like a clinical environment, you know, very placid. They're emotional enough, you know, and things are going on. They don't certainly need me to exacerbate that in any way, shape, or form.